Yo, what's up guys? Old School Dan here and welcome to another Train the Reg Park Way video. In today's video, it's going to be about biceps, so we got a lot of good stuff coming your way. So with that being said, let's jump right into it.
Steve Reg did various types of curls. He'd do barbell curls, of course, for thickness and for mass. He'd do seated dumbbell curl, and he really enjoyed doing standing alternate dumbbell curls.
I'm surprised John didn't say anything about Reg Park doing incline dumbbell curls because it could kind of make sense because again, a lot of people consider the incline dumbbell curl a Reeves movement because a lot of Reeves movements were like the famous ones were like the incline dumbbell press, incline dumbbell curl, and again two different types of physiques. Steve Reeves, polished, graceful, a little bit more refined. Reg Park, powerful, strength, strong. That's two words: strong, strength. Anyways, you guys get the idea. They have two different types of looks. So I guess it could make sense why he did more of the real mass compound movements, where Reeves did this sort of more of an isolation type of exercise.
Did a little differently. So you'd start with his hands facing inwards, okay? And if he was working in front of a mirror, he wouldn't stand front on, because his whole ideal was to try and get as much of a 3D view as possible. And he'd always work.
Interesting point that he would bring up that this type of angle gives you a 3D type of look. It's something I've never heard before. I've never even thought about something like that, but it's true because you could see this part of the arm contracting. Not only that, you can slightly see this part of the area contracting as well. I don't know what it looks like to actually see this in the mirror, but I'm going to try this out at the gym and see what it's like because that's a pretty interesting thing to do.
On a one-arm movement or an alternative movement, one leg, one arm, he'd always work his weakest side first, which most...
I made another video like a long time ago on fixing weak points, especially since a lot of people are naturally dominant in the right arm. So let's just say your left arm is lagging. You definitely want to start off with it, and especially when using dumbbells too. I think dumbbells are really good for correcting symmetry and proportions in between unsymmetrical body parts, like basically between obviously arms. That's a good point to start from. Like say you got an arm that's bigger than the other, right? What you want to do is you mostly want to use dumbbells because you can exert more force and you can consciously put more force into one arm compared to the other because naturally you're going to have more power and you're going to naturally put more and consciously you're going to subconsciously put more power into this arm just because it's your dominant arm, whereas the left arm doesn't really do that. You have to consciously put energy and thought into contracting this arm harder than this arm. So that's what he means by starting with one arm first, then the other, starting with the weak arm. That's then I always do my workouts. I always do this in my workouts from now on. I've been doing it for like the longest time now.
Places would be your left, for the same reason as we're talking earlier, working weakest body parts first, because as you continue training, you get more fatigue, your weak side gets weaker, and the energy level is lower. Right. So you'd start with the left arm first, lean into it, rotate it.
Also, another tip I forgot to mention about the left arm thing, starting with starting with the left arm first. This is a tip I picked up from Vince Durana. Vince Durana said, if you have one lagging arm like the left one, what you want to do is when you're doing the exercise, think left. That's what I meant by you have to consciously put power and exert. You have to manually put more force into this arm, and when you're doing the exercise, you have to consciously think about it. And I like that tip that I picked up from Vince Durana about thinking left. It's a really good tip. I made a video about that like a long time ago.
First, so-called supination and pronation. Rotate, and just by doing that movement.
Another interesting tip that I picked up from actually Steve Reeves is the sort of a dumbbell, a hand position in it when you're doing a dumbbell curl. For example, let's just say we're doing the incline dumbbell curl, right? Steve Reeves, I've thought of this hand position where you take it more towards I believe the outer part of the dumbbell, so that the bell is right where your hand is right here, so that you have that position and you naturally supinate outward. And this is something John's going to talk about towards the end of the video about creating a W with the body. You'll see what I mean, but that was a pretty cool tip that I got from Steers. He also said to apply that same tip when doing flies as well.
What you do is focus on shortening the bicep, and on the way down, just by turning the wrist, lengthening the bicep. Exhaling as you curl. Inhaling on the way down. Keeping the elbow in as close as possible. And flexing. One thing that I notice with Reg when he's teachings with bicep work is you notice a lot of guys when they do bicep curls, Steve, they curl inwards. Right. And what that does is it makes the shoulder pronate forward, because Reg was always concerned about postural integrity with his training. Even if you weren't directly working the posture, you're working the posture, even by doing biceps. So by doing this, although it is a bicep movement, works more the outside portion of the bicep, the brachialis, it also brings the shoulder in. But he would have you curling as if you're doing, for example, if you're doing both arms together, you'd think about forming a letter W. So
this is what I was talking about earlier about the W forming with the supination.
There, you're taking your hands outside the shoulders, which engages more the long head of the bicep. Right.
Always supinating.
Yeah. And by standing 3/4, if you want to check in the mirror, you're seeing the inside of this bicep, you're seeing the outside of this bicep. So you get to see every aspect, and you change each set. His next set, you'd face the other way around. Yeah. Yeah.
Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned a lot of stuff from that video. I hope you received value from it. With that being said, subscribe for more videos like this. Give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'm Old School Dan. I'm gone.